So today, if you've been on Twitter or anything, you've probably already seen this clip going around. And this is from a channel called Heel vs. Babyface. I had no idea who this guy was, but what the clip was is him throwing a tantrum about Starfield, and basically that there's pronouns and gender-inclusive people and androgynous people in the game, which is set in the far-flung future, and it's this massive RPG, if you don't already know what it is. Now, I saw this and dunked on him like everybody else because it's fun and easy to do. However, I was curious when I saw some other clips of his going around, which led me to watching most of the stream that it's from. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch the important bits. And it turns out that his assessment of what's happening in the game is potentially so much dumber than just a grown man throwing a temper tantrum. And it is a temper tantrum. Don't get it twisted. He gets loud and starts yelling over this video game. It's so interesting to see how he turns, though, because watch how he reacts when somebody on his stream just asks, "How's the game?" He is mostly positive.
Jake Pie with the 2 dots is how you liking it so far. I'm a bit on the fence. So far, and don't take this the wrong way. So far, it's fine. It's not rocky. You know, it's not blowing my mind, but it's solid. It's fine. So I don't have too many complaints. My only sort of gripe at the minute is the space combat seems really janky, and that could definitely do with improving, in my humble opinion. But everything else is like, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with. What's a coachman, by the way?
So that is pretty much like it's all right there. Like, he gives a pretty metered assessment to somebody who is asking, how is this big new RPG? And he's like, it's fine. He doesn't complain about pronouns or anything. He doesn't, although he has whinged about it before this. But he's just like, yeah, it's okay. It's a video game.
No glitch. I haven't come across no major glitches. I mean, sometimes there's the conversation glitch where if you're in another room, you just look at a wall while they talk to you. But
it does look like Scarif.
No bugs, no glitches. It's been
Nerd with the suit. Have you played Jedi Survivor yet?
Captain,
Babies.
over here.
Hi.
So here we go.
Cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it.
Okay.
But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier.
Yes.
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
You're a dude.
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem.
So this is a very important, it's just a joke, and credit to streamers. It's not, as somebody who does stream, it's not easy coming up with stuff on the fly, always having to react, try and keep people engaged and interested. And his style of comedy is very much just not mine. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not for everybody, or not for anybody. That being said, he just threw this out there as a joke, that this character was going to say that she's actually a man. And then she doesn't. But then he'll start to continue acting like she does for a very specific reason, and we'll see that in a second.
At first glance.
Uh-huh.
The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place.
Yeah.
I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians, secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come.
So, not knowing much about Starfield, this character, and I'm just explaining this in as plain terms as I can, this character is a clone of a man. And a lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, but it's a woman. However, cloning in science fiction and cloning in real life, this kind of thing does happen. We see it all the time in real life with twins, where genetically identical twins, at some point, one will become a boy, one will become a girl. In pop culture, some of the biggest clones are in Metal Gear Solid, and X-23, who is, of course, the daughter of Wolverine, who came from her father's same genetic material, but ended up a girl. So there is precedent in science fiction, and there's precedent in real life, for cloned genetic material resulting in different assigned sexes at birth. This is a thing that literally happens, and it's a thing that is well known and well documented to be written about in science fiction. However, he doesn't seem to acknowledge that, and instead just takes it as, because this character was cloned from a man, that means she's a trans woman. Something never said, never really even alluded to, in this conversation at least. And that becomes his sole focus, the only thing he can think about. He obsesses over it. Let's watch. Small cute frog, you'd think so. You'd think so.
Oh, look, you're a clone of a man. How does that work?
A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few
Gary.
levels, but there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked.
So you're not a clone. This is actually gene splicing.
So he is literally, at this point, he's trying to figure out a way to spin this around, because now he's thrown a tantrum at the idea that it might be a trans person, and now it's been explained to him that it's not, so he has to figure out a way to justify why he'd be so mad and throw such a hissy fit. Which is important, because the big scene everybody has seen is coming up next.
That you're talking about. Oh, fuck off. Seriously, just fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. It's infected everywhere.
Nerves kicking in.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Gonna cry?
There's something else I thought you should know.
You're a double dude. You're a double dude with fucking dicks on top. Here I'm in with a 20,000 ADR. Says Space Dylan Mulberry. Yes.
Okay, really? We're gonna go here now? Seriously?
Again, it's important to note, this person isn't trans. Yet him and his comments are so mad. Like, they're literally obsessed with the idea that this character might be trans. So they're pulling out, like, Dylan Mulvaney references.
Some days I really miss alcohol. I really do miss alcohol and abusing drugs. Some days. I'm not saying today's one of them, but today's one of them.
The idea of a trans person. An idea that he's fabricated in his head. Like, this is made up because of him. Is apparently enough to drive him to drink, is what he's saying. He's imagined this. Like, he's getting so mad over something that he assumed and was wrong about, and he knows he was wrong about, but he's acting like it's still a trans person.
There's something you should know about me. I have a massive cock! Yeah.
It could be another obstacle they throw at us up there.
Whatever you say, dude.
I just wanted you to be forewarned.
Whatever you say, buddy.
116th doc, basically.
Mate.
Basically. Like, he's just misgendering this character entirely wrong.
Yeah. Fuck your family.
Not an unfair assessment.
No, it's not,
But
dude.
what we're doing now, so your help means a lot more than I figured you might realize.
Well, my help might dry up real fucking quick, buddy. Marvel Mind Trick with the £5 says, have a beer. Can't. I'm off alcohol. I'm teetotal. I'm on the wagon. I'm straight edge nowadays. Jens Anderson of the Terai with a 20 Swedish says, as always gets caught in the cookie jar IP.
Beyond Sunset, basically.
There's been no sexual shenanigans with this person.
Thought you ought to know.
I just thought I would say the most ridiculous thing when they said, there's something I need to tell you. And obviously being a clear female, I just joked, you're a dude. And then they went to tell me that they are a clone of a dude.
No telling how long the
That's not the same thing. Like he's trying to make it out. Like, I can't... all I can continue doing is rerunning it in my head that he was wrong and is trying to justify how he actually wasn't wrong. Even though he's every time he lays it out, he's like, I said a thing that wasn't true, but I'm going to be mad anyway.
Everything's getting... Everything is gender ambiguous.
We're about to go into the actual meltdown, but it's important to note that not even like 5-10 minutes before this, and an hour before this, as I showed at the beginning, he was like, yeah, game's pretty all right. And then a little bit later, he's like, you know what, it's pretty good. I'm having a good time, is basically how he put it. But this, his imagined perceived slight, is enough for him to say, fuck this game. Fuck all the fun I've had up until now.
Just gender. Oh, just fuck off. Do you know what I like? I like women. I like my women to be women, right? You know, the old-fashioned women with breasts and vagina, not cocks and fucking hairy chests and beards, you know.
Quick note on that. He actually doesn't like women, as we'll see in a little bit here. He views them, he makes a joke that doesn't really come off as a joke about them being subservient, and is constantly berating and belittling women just for being women. And I think he would say it as a joke, but like throughout these streams, you can't go 20 minutes without him like telling a woman to shut up. Something to note as he talks about he likes women.
Jesus, ESG, fucking hell. I'm moving to Russia. I'm moving to Russia. I'm gonna buy a house in fucking Kiev right now. I think Kiev's Ukraine, actually. Moscow. I'm gonna go buy a house in Moscow right now. I'm going fucking house hunting in Moscow.
It's a little intimidating. I understand.
What's intimidating? The chick with the dick. Okay, whatever.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have 2 petitioners here making a surprising request.
Yeah, I say Russia. I'm lying. I'm totally going to go to Japan. I'm going to get myself some based, busty Asian lass that says, hey, do you mind if I stay at home and look after the house and make sure that it's all tidy? And you earn the money, and you do the money side, and I'll do the looking after side, and I'll go, fuck yeah.
Excuse me, what?
He's mad, so his joke about leaving the West is to go to Japan. And again, I said it's clearly a joke, like as in he can say, oh, I was just joking. Like there's no punchline, there's no build up to it. It's just him like laying out a fantasy to have a busty Japanese bang maid, basically.
I need a woman to cook for me and clean up after me, and somebody who'll do everything I say.
Well, that's just a maid. You want a maid?
Yeah, that's right. A maid. A maid I can bang.
Well, what the hell, man?
Like, so perfect for a guy like this. Like, he thinks he can, like, pull Hitomi Tanaka if he goes over to Japan. It speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. Again, we're not at the meltdown yet. It's coming. But this next part I do want to play, because if some of you in the chat have noted, a lot of his humor is pretty cringe. I would wear a mouth guard for this one, honestly, because if that made you cringe, this may have you grinding your teeth.
I'm really a dude. Of course you're a dude. Of course. It's the best in the game. Of course. Do you feel powerful? Do you feel it, Chud? Do you think that you paid me, that you did what you could do?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on a...
That's my inspiration on interesting characters at it.
I suppose that does get to the heart
I
of
think you earned me because you pay me.
Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So...
He has this weird thing about, despite the fact that this game is supposed to take place in the future and is, most importantly, fictional, he has this thing about the writing taking him out, and like, because it's so modern, because it has modern sensibilities like trans people or androgyny or gender queer and non-binary folks. How do you think the future's going to be, bucko? Like, if you don't like people of color now, if you don't like people who are different and have different expressions of gender and sexuality now, you ain't making it to Starfield time. You're just not. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So Bethesda's full of a bunch of misogynists, by the way, because all they ever seem to do is want to destroy women at every fucking turn imaginable.
Collective and House of Arun.
Now, I don't know if he's reacting to something here, because it kind of just comes out of nowhere, but it's worth pointing out that Bethesda being misogynist, A, he just called a fictional character a bitch, and just went on a rant about how he wants a Japanese bang maid to take care of his house for him. B, everybody in this conversation is a woman in the game, a cis woman. And somehow, to him, again, he seems to think that one of these characters is trans, despite the fact she is not. So, that is the inciting incident for what happens next.
And I don't think there's anything more misogynistic than trying to replace women constantly with fucking men.
And all the galaxy.
I don't give a fuck, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Tell me what I'm getting first, and I'll consider it.
Item on my list.
Captain Woman Respecter over here, everybody.
Citizenship settled systems.
What are your pronouns? Tell me your pronouns, you stupid cow.
It's full backing to prevent more attacks.
Tell me your pronouns. Did you vote blue? You're wearing blue. You're blue. Fucking freaks. Fucking freaks everywhere. Oh, so I've got to say yes. Okay.
Have you considered?
Yeah, well, I've got no choice. You got a blue blob above your head. The only thing I can do is go get
that. You'll be a UC citizen tomorrow if you get the job done.
Oh, whatever. Fucking whatever.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, whatever.
Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without
Look, I promise not to misgender anyone, okay?
Deputy McIntyre in the
Again, he's just...
Well, I don't, actually. I take that back.
He's not... Like, nothing's happened.
I'll use words instead of guns. How about that?
And on behalf
he's not reacting to anything.
You have our thanks.
He's just making this shit up. Like, he's just coming up with an imaginary reason to be mad at trans people and pronouns.
I was so excited this game.
I'll make sure they get what they require.
Why is everybody in a position of power female? Deputy Elizabeth.
That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs.
Yeah.
I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat.
Well, I'm worried about having an affair because I'm worried that the person I'm going to have an affair with might not, might be more than meets the eye. You know what I'm saying?
I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet.
Again, just can't stop thinking about sex with trans people.
Fully committed to this endeavor.
Just always on the mind, apparently.
Hey, do you know what I love? Hey, Bethesda. Oi, cow, shut your fucking cake hole. Hey, Bethesda, I just want to say something to you. Bethesda, I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off, fuck that. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my god, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring! We can't see past our own fucking reflection! That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western Game Company! Fuck your immersion, fuck you having a good time, fuck you falling into a world and just getting lost. No, current fucking day! Fuck off! You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle! That's all you fucking are! And you wonder why people are getting so fucking sick and tired! You take everything we love, all our emotions, all our fantasies, all our escapism, and you just can't help shovel your dog shit, fucking crap ideology into everything! Every single solitary fucking thing!
I like you begging. Do it again.
He, basically Pavloved himself. Like a Pavlovian instinct. Like a dog hearing a bell and their mouth getting wet and them starting to salivate. He thought there might have been a trans person. And then for almost an hour of playing the game, did nothing but make jokes about trans people's genitalia, about who they had sex with. And he went from talking about how Bethesda hates women and wants trans people to replace men, or to replace women, to not even 10 minutes later, going on I would call that slightly less than hinged rant, where he basically claims that, even having women in positions of power, even fairly effeminate women, some of the characters looked a little bit older, but they had long hair. I wouldn't say they were, dressed particularly butch or too androgynous for what appears to be a militaristic sci-fi setting. You should have no problem with that, based on your previous comments, but as you can see here, he lacks any kind of consistency and is just moving the goalposts to fit his ideological agenda. And for so many chuds like this, escapism is the thing that they come to games for. And when you really see a grown man who appears to be in his late 30s, maybe 40s, sit down and yell about a video game that he, in his own mind, has twisted himself into hating for no other reason than it might be inclusive. Like, that's like really sad to me. Like, it's actually like kind of depressing in a way. Look, I'm like, look at all the shit around me, and anybody who's seen my couch streams, like, my apartment is filled with nerd shit. Like, filled with Star Wars, Marvel, Godzilla, Monster High, Transformers, like all sorts of nerd shit. NECA, I got an entire shelf of like NECA horror figures. So I don't think it's, a jump for me to say I love this shit. No, and a lot of it I keep around because I find it artistically inspiring, or because it's based on things that have artistically inspired me before. And so I look to those things as I'm sitting here at my desk, I'm writing, I'm putting videos together, I'm looking for new things to cover, and it all ties into that. So safe to say I love all that shit. I don't think I have ever, and I've been passionate about some stuff that's come out, in something that I've hated, in something that I've loved, if something was disappointing when it came out, I have never gotten to the point where I would yell and scream about it. And I saw Rise of Skywalker, like, on opening day. So I've been in the trenches before, but like, losing yourself to this degree is so... K2 Corner, I'm so sick of this shit in my gaming and entertainment. What shit? Like, there weren't any trans people, just women. Like, and I feel like, in a way, that just gets down to what they actually dislike about this stuff. Is like it started out with him criticizing trans people, but then it wasn't enough. So it just kept moving down their grievance board until he snapped, because he realized, like, why are all these women in positions of power in this game? Despite the fact that he was earlier talking about, like, defending women and saying Bethesda are misogynist because they're trans people, which there weren't. Like, the person he thought was trans isn't. Like, whole thing is woke. Also, what do you expect from a modern Bethesda game, you idiot? It's like being immersed in a bucket of dog shit. What? God. Why is characters in... I don't get it. ESG filled piece of trash. Does anybody know what does ESG mean? Does anybody know what that means? Space orgy mods. Why? Oh, Yakaru, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Because they aren't characters, they're political messages from the devs. Sure. Like, that's what I thought, but that wouldn't make sense in the context that it was filled. What? I don't get that. That's what I thought, but like the way that he phrased it was ESG filled piece of trash. He phrased it like ESG is something, but it's not. Like, the game isn't filled with Elder Scrolls. Boxing Cat SWO, good to see you, by the way. It's weird to me, if you've played Fallout 4, 76, Skyrim, you know what you're going to get with Starfield. That's the other thing, is that I saw somebody earlier today being like, oh my gosh, this interaction, and it was just like a video on Twitter of him walking into a room. This interaction is what we need for more next-gen games. And it was just like picking stuff up and moving it around a room and like opening drawers and cupboards and like doors and windows. And it might be like technically a little bit more than most games or even Bethesda games, but honestly, it's not far off from like Cyberpunk, but more importantly, something like Oblivion, where you could pick up any tiny object and move it around. Same thing with Skyrim. You could sit down. Like, I don't there's this thing that happens where I think people are aware in a grand sense of Bethesda games, but either they haven't played them recently enough to actually remember what they're like, or they've just watched like Let's Plays and stuff, so they don't understand the world for themselves until a new one comes out, which is fair. I wouldn't say I'm super excited for Starfield, but I will play it, mostly because I'm looking for something kind of new to play right now. I'm in a mood for something open world, so I've kind of been holding off on starting anything else. Yeah, it's just chunky chick with Karen haircut. God. What? Like, look at this. Look at this guy literally laughing at that Transformers joke. Transformers, lol. Like, suspicious amount of women in charge for something that's not at war every 28 days. You get it? Because women have periods. Hello. I love you. Yes, I do. Would you like to talk into the mic? Do you have things to say? No. Oh, yes. Oh, do we all see that? Go to full screen for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she loved her pets. Oh, yes. He my baby. Oh, she's so rumbly right now. Oh, my kitty. I love you. Oh, she gave me a little boop. Little head bump.